Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. I want to go ahead and start by wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Well, now let's get back to the video. Hey everyone, well, I know we've been doing a lot to this truck right here lately. We have an exhaust system we're going to be putting in this truck. We're going to put Longtube headers, back road caps, let's put it that way, strictly race purpose only, and we're going to be doing that install. Now, we got our headers from 2M Fabrication. These are stainless T304 stainless steel headers, and these right here, you can get a set of these with back road cats here, clamps, of course, they're harness extension, real nice headers for just a hair over $700. And there's not many headers out there that are under $1,500. This is with the factory manifolds and MBRP side exhaust. So that's going to be the before. Now this is roughly 10 foot away from the exhaust tips here. So now let's go ahead and get the install, and then we'll do the after and comparison. Okay, we got it in here on the lift. I had to pull the catback system here, side exhaust off, before I could load it on the lift because of the lift arms. And here we have the exhaust system sitting here. So here's the truck. Now we're going to get up in the air and start getting everything tore off. First thing I'm going to do is take these inner fenders out. All right, I've got it in the air here. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the inner fenders out just to help get some access in here. You've got some small bolts here around the front section. And right up in here, some little push clips. In there's one right here, no big deal. Go ahead and just take this piece right here out along the inside of the fender well, right there at the top, and one right there. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this side out and go there to the other side and take the other side out. Now with the inner fender out, you can see all the clearance we have here. So looking here, we're gonna be taking the shield here off first. Once the heat shield's off, everything will be easier to get to the bolts. We'll have these right here off next, and then once those are off, then we'll pull the heat shield off and take off all the bolts for the exhaust manifold on both sides. Okay, over here on the driver's side, you've got this plug here, that plug, and the wire here. Those will be sticking or protruding through to they'll be mounted to that inner fender. So you can just push them right there straight up through the bottom before you loosen anything, so that those already be loosened up whenever you pull your inner fender out. We have access to this one to go ahead to get the shield off and to get all those bolts there out. Looking at it through the bottom, you have this bolt here, it's a 15 millimeter, and you have on the other side here. Let's see, where's the one on this side? I don't even know. Well, you got this one here, and that's the main thing. You look over here, and you take a sawzall blade, and you just start cutting stuff, see? You know, this here at the back of the transmission, here and here, are the pieces that slide in through the front that hold up the brace for the center. Those will slide forward. The exhaust is already disconnected there. So what we're gonna do, right up here, you have your upper O2 sensor, which goes way up here in the back. And you're just gonna trace that to the plug and disconnect that one. The same with this one right here. You're gonna follow it and then disconnect this one. And there's two, there's this one up here and there's this one right here, same on the other side. You got that one up there and that one right there. You want to disconnect both of those. And then once those are disconnected, you have those two nuts right there. And same over here. Okay, I've loosened the exhaust here up, this Y pipe and the cats. I've taken all O2 sensors out. I've slid the pipe forward to get it out of these right here. Now I've got to take the 2 bolts in the cross member here for the transmission loose, and these 2 bolts on each side loose here, so I can drop this cross member under the transmission down. To hold the transmission up, I'll be putting a strap around this back cross member around the top of the transmission, and I'll be putting these hooks right here on the inside of this right here. The transmission is held up with that strap. Now there's 8mm right here and on the other side there for the heat shield. I'll take those loose, and this cross member will come out, and that exhaust system will come out. Okay, here we have it. It's all pulled out, sitting here on the floor. We've got to take our O2 sensors out and put them where they need to go in the same order on the exhaust system up there. I've put some paint on the inside of this, on both these pieces, because where they were put together before the frame was painted, so I seen a little bit of surface rust there, so I did put some touch-up paint on there. So now it's time to get up there and get those shields off and go ahead and start taking some of those bolts right there out, and taking the studs out as well, because the kit does come with bolts. So getting all those out. Okay, now we've got the truck back down to where we can work on it up here. We're going to take all the bolts out here at the top. There's one down there, the front, the middle, and then the back. This is the passenger side. You can see there's one in the back, one in the middle, and one all the way up there at the front. Okay, we've got our heat shields off now. I'm going to start with the front bolt because that seems to be the hardest to get to, so that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with getting it out first, and then working my way back. Getting all the top bolts loose first, then I'll get the bottom. Okay, this manifold over here is out. Now if the studs stay in there, you may have to use a 1/4 inch socket there and slide it over to get those studs out. So that's what I had to do. Other side, not really a big issue other than the bolt right here. There's not a lot of room between this and all this junk. Still got one more. I'll use a wrench to get it off, a 1/4 inch. So there it is. Okay, now I got the driver's side off. I've got one stud left right there to pull off, no big deal. Get that with the 1/4, and then it'll be time to set the headers in place. So I'm just gonna try this with one hand here. To stick it over those bottom bolts, and then let it slide in. Okay, up there I've started one bolt in it. Okay, now this side right here, I didn't have to loosen the motor mount up, raise the motor or nothing. Of course, with the supercharger, there's not much room to raise it anyway. But going through the bottom, I had plenty of room. Granted, using a lift, I was able to angle the header more, but I was able to get it right in place, get it all torqued down. The torque on these, our first round is 18 foot-pounds, and then it's 24 foot-pounds. But you can't really get a torque wrench in there, so you just got to kind of tighten the crap out of them pretty much. So that's what I did. Now that those are done, I did not have to use my O2 sensor extension. I went ahead and put the O2 sensors in there, and they fit in the factory location right up there. So that one did not have to be extended. I've not connected the rear ones yet, but the rear one may need the extension. So next, what I'm going to do is get the rear pipes put in place. Okay, now I have it assembled. None of this right here is tight. None of these bands are tight. This band has the bracket that holds the center up that goes in the factory location. I went ahead and I put my O2 sensors exactly where they go. So you've got the bend with a southern converter, and you got the Y pipe, another southern converter. So now we're about to stick it in place. Okay, it's just sitting in place right now. As you can see, this band right here goes right in place of this. The O2 sensor still clears right there where it's supposed to. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is check to make sure my angles are straight here. And then I'm gonna put my clamp right here where it needs to be, angle it up out of the way, and torque my clamp down. Once that clamp's torqued down, I'll go right over here, and then I'll work this right here exactly where it needs to be, from center to this to center to this, and I'll torque this clamp down. Before I do anything with this clamp here, I want to make sure this angle here is where it needs to be, and it's centered here to this Southern catalytic converter. And then I'll torque these right here down, as well as the other ones. We've tightened up all of our band clamps. You can see they're torqued down. Here, the one in the center, it mounts up into the brace up here at the top. The one over here on the other side, which goes back into this piece here. I put a little piece of black tape up in here and torqued everything down to make sure this would be where it needed to be. Now, I've got my cross member bolts back in here. Now I'm gonna go ahead, let the strap down on my transmission, put my 2 transmission bolts in, tighten up the bolts here and here, and then I've already put my O2 sensors here. They were able to reach, everything was able to reach. See right here, I'm gonna zip tie that over to here. But all the zip ties were able to reach except for this one that goes right here. It had to go all the way over and over at the top up here. So I only had to do the one sensor, and it wouldn't work, it wouldn't fit right. This piece right here wasn't cut right. So I just took a little razor blade and notched it there. And on the inside, it had a little piece right here on the inside, and I just got a razor blade and cut it so it would work, because these right here, they wouldn't work for the truck for some reason, since we're on ones. At this point, it's all pretty much finished, to the point of getting the headers, long tubes on, the Y pipe, the Southern Cats, and I can't put the tailpipe side exhaust on yet because of the lift pad there. So it's pretty much done at this point. I'm going to go ahead and put the center fenders on both sides back in, get the wheels back on, sit it down, and then put the side exhaust on, and we'll crank it up for the first time and do a sound comparison.